Hey guys, we are back with the Screen Team right here on KWOC, being joined by Amber for this next review. And Amber, we're getting ready to review a movie. It's called Lion. This movie was nominated for Best Picture last year, and I gotta say, it's a really, really good film. I know that you have kind of a cool story to go with this. What's your story?
I have a love-hate relationship with this movie. Or I guess
really?
A hate-love relationship with this movie, because initially I hated it,
okay,
and then I loved it. It's totally my fault is the reason I hated it.
Okay.
So I watched this movie for good 35 minutes, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the stupidest movie ever. There is no dialogue. It's all in Hindu, and there's no subtitles.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I guess that, this is an artistic, decision that they made so people could just watch their, movement and emotion and figure it out. But I was like, this is so dumb. And then after about 45 minutes, I was like, this can't be right. This cannot be right. So then I Googled it, and I was like, yeah, I didn't turn the subtitles on. So then I had to back it up and watch the whole thing again, and it made much more sense.
It does, yeah. That definitely helps. Subtitles definitely help,
man. It made much more sense, and it turned out to be an excellent movie. Absolutely excellent, in my opinion.
Yeah, the movie is incredible. I think not only is the movie incredible, but the story itself is incredible.
Based on a true story.
Yeah, you're right. It is based on a true story. We follow Saru is the young boy's name. He is Hindu, like you said, and he lives with his mom and his older brother and his younger sister. And obviously, they live in a rough part of India, and hardworking and kind of low-class kind of community and whatnot, and there's a situation where Saru gets lost from his family.
Right.
And somehow, not only does he get lost from his family, but he ends up on a cargo train that takes him
many thousands of miles away.
Takes him away from his hometown to some other area in India where they don't even speak the same language that he speaks. So he's trying to communicate with these other folks, and they're like, we got nothing for you, man.
He can't tell him his last name, because he's really young. He doesn't know his last name. He doesn't really know where he lives. And so no one knows how to help him to get him back.
Right. And not only that, he is meeting a lot of shady characters along the way.
Very shady. Some really bad stuff could have happened.
Yeah, very, very bad stuff. And somehow he's able to skirt those issues and survive that. And he ends up, I guess, in like an orphanage home or something like that later on in the movie. And he goes from there to being adopted by an Australian couple. And that's where the second half of the movie begins. First half of the movie, we see Saru as a young boy. Second half of the movie, we see him as an older adult and how he is dealing with his new family and how he's dealing with the fact that he lost his old family. It's really, really an incredible story.
And very emotional, because it's not just him struggling with this idea of, I want to know who my biological family is, but the guilt that he feels that they've potentially been looking for him for 20 years while he's had this life that's been great. And they're still back in India living in poverty, and probably their lives have been, devastated because of him disappearing.
Yeah. We meet Saru as an older adult, and he is played by Dev Patel, who was in
Slumdog Millionaire.
Thank you, that's the one.
So there's some similarities there, kind of the ghettos of India, like you had in Slumdog. So it feels, some could argue, I guess, that it feels kind of like it's remaking, some of that movie, but it's totally different emotionally, I think.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this film. I liked it because of the subject matter. Has to do with adoption, but also finding your your birth family and stuff like that. So it was, kind of struck home a little bit. Right. So I like that aspect of it as well, but it's just a strong story. One of the scenes that really, really kind of struck me was in the beginning of the film, him and his older brother are at this market or whatever, and they see all this food, and they're buying milk, I believe, and they see like these little red, I'm not really sure what they are.
Some sort of Indian kind of baked good or fried candy or something.
And they like it, but I don't think they're able to afford it or something like that. But as an older adult, he sees it, and he just like breaks down.
Yeah,
you know?
Instantly all the memories start flooding back, and he realizes, what's going on in his head.
Yeah, it's really, really just an emotional movie. I think probably maybe at times a little too artistic.
There's some moments.
There's a lot of walking and thinking and, sun coming down. So if you're not into a lot of the, artistic kind of stuff, this might not be the film for you, but I think the story is strong enough that I think most people will dig it.
And I knew the emotional hit was going to come at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know when. And so it was getting closer to the end of the movie, and I was like, okay, I know it's coming, but where is it? I mean, there's only 20 minutes of this movie left.
Right.
And then when it came, it was like, boom.
Yeah.
Hit you like a train. And I was like, oh.
When it hit me, and this is a spoiler, at the very end they show documentary footage of Saru's birth mother and his adoptive mother meeting. That's when it hit me. I was like,
when they're all hugging each other, and everyone's so happy and it's wonderful. And this was like, the sobbing was not because it was tragic in the end.
Yeah.
The sobbing came from how wonderful it was.
Right.
And so I think that's nice to have instead of everything be so dark all the time.
Nicole Kidman's in this film as well. What did you think about her?
I thought she was really good.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want Nicole Kidman, to be your adopted mom?
Yeah. Yeah.
She was good. The guy who played her husband, I did not know who he was. I'd never seen him before.
Are you familiar with the Lord of the Rings movies? He was in, I think, 2 and 3.
Well, I'm sure he had a fancy costume.
He did. Did you ever see 300?
No, I didn't see that one.
He's in a lot of those kind of gladiator, fantasy type stuff. But, Lion, solid movie.
Excellent movie. Anybody I think could watch this.
Very good. Check it out. You can check it out on Netflix or get it on DVD. Movie's called Lion. We'll have more reviews coming your way next right here on KWOC.